Okay, we're gonna pull out some really light baits now. I believe this is, I don't know, 3/32 of an ounce. And I'm gonna stay far away from trees. Casted that pretty good. I'd say it went around 50 feet. I did get an overrun. So I'm going to turn the brakes up to 4.5. It was on 4, almost to 4, I should say. Okay, I'd say that went around 60 feet. Definitely a fishable distance. Spool is really controlled. Makes me feel like I can go down on the brakes a little bit, but I think I'm on the limit right now. I'll go down probably a quarter of a turn on the external dial. The wind is coming in right now. Wow. Let's go this way. Hopefully you guys can see where that landed. That is this little tiny crank. Okay, so let's switch this lure over to the 70 and see what it can do. Okay, here's the 70. Already the accuracy is awful. I can sense the spool is going too fast. I'm going to tighten up that spool tension. Okay, spool tension tightened up towards a really slow fall. Distance is doable, but definitely not in the BFS category. I'm going to turn these brakes up to 4.5. They were on 3. So because the accuracy is pretty bad, well, not nearly as good as the BFS, it's obviously taking the spool is that much heavier to where it's affecting the trajectory of the cast, because the inertia is a lot more, the initial inertia is a lot more on the 70, so it's affecting the trajectory. That's why you have to release it earlier and kind of do somewhat of a rainbow lob cast. While the BFS, you can just fire it out there and get way more distance as well. It's way more spool control issues as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn all 4 brakes on inside. I believe I only have 3. Turn all 4 back on and see if that helped. But I'm going to turn the external dial back to 3. So while I'm hitting probably 50 feet, maybe a little bit more, if you're fishing like a small river or just target casting, the Scorpion 70 definitely can do it, but it won't do it as easily or nearly as good as the BFS version, no matter how you set your brakes up. Okay, I got a good cast there, but I got a little overrun. Yep, still running into those same problems. So this is definitely so far a win for the BFS. Okay, believe it or not, I'm even gonna go lighter. I'm going to throw this little crank right here. One of these. To give you a size comparison between the two. So what I was just throwing, this is what I'm going to throw now. This will be a pretty good test for this Scorpion. I'm not sure what this little crank weighs. I'll weigh it when I get home. Okay, let's see what this thing can do. Ooh, that was really good. Spool control was excellent. Let me do one more and then I'll go down on the brakes. I'm thinking that went about 60 feet. I think the hooks are fouled on each other. Oh well. Okay. There was some wind, but I'm thinking the other setting was pretty optimal. You can't really whip it out there. It's got to be a nice smooth stroke. This is going about 60 feet, I'd say. So if you're in a creek that's maybe 15, 20 yards wide and it's holding, you know, a decent sized creek bass, I think this BFS, a good BFS setup will be more fun than a spinning setup. Definitely more fun than a spinning setup, at least for me. Okay, a couple more casts with this, and then we're gonna put this little lure on the 70. It's not bad. There was a wind coming in. Whoa! I just missed that. I wonder what kind of fish that was. I know there's big carp in here and some bass. Let's see if I can hit that spot. Close. Turtle just popped up. Just keep in mind, the lighter the lure, the more breaks you need, and the less force you need to throw it out there. I know that's sounds counterintuitive, but the smoother, more deliberate your cast is when you're going for these casting these really light lures, the better results you'll have. And I remember that from using the REVO LTX that I had. Okay, one more cast. I'll say that went about 70 feet. All right, against my better judgment, we're gonna try this really light lure on the 70. Okay, now we have the Scorpion 70, and I'm not taking any chances. I'm turning all the brakes up as high as I can, so that means all 4 inside, 6 on the dial. Not even close. Yeah, this is a pain. This is not fun. I'm probably getting 20 feet, 25 feet maybe. All right, let's turn the brakes down to 5 on the external dial. See if that helps. Nope. Okay, this is frustrating. So I think about 1/8 of an ounce is definitely as low as you can go and fish comfortably and not be pissed off. That's for sure. Whew, no matter what I do, I cannot get it to go farther than that. I try to lob it, do a slow delivered stroke. The spool is just too heavy to get a good cast with this really light bait. Something that the Scorpion BFS handled a lot easier. See, that was my best cast so far right there. So if you're fishing a really tiny creek, it's maybe 10 yards wide, this is doable. I think I got the hang of it now, but it's still not going nearly as far as the BFS version. Okay, so back from the little field outing there. I don't know if it showed up on video very well, but the Scorpion 70 was kind of struggling, especially with the really low weight lures as compared to the BFS version. So let's go over some weights here and then an explanation as to why I think that was. First of all, I'm going to let you guys know what line I was using. When I was at Walmart, I saw this. It's Trout Magnet brand 4-pound mono. It's really cheap, and of course trout are very line shy, so I figured, you know, what the heck, give it a try. It worked out okay, but let me show you guys the lures I was using. Look how small that is. And this was the first lure I was throwing in the first part. This is the second lure I was throwing, the one that got hung up in the tree. This is the third lure I was throwing. And this was the fourth lure I was throwing. Look how small that is. There's no way you could even think of throwing this on a normal bait caster. Okay, so the first lure weighed 3.5 grams, so that's right at 1/8 of an ounce, and both of them handled them decently, especially the BFS version handled it pretty easy. This second lure weighs 3.2, so a little bit under 1/8 of an ounce. This third lure weighs 2.7 grams, so that's right around 3/32 of an ounce. It's very light. And this lure weighs 1.79 grams, so that's about 1/16 of an ounce, which is probably as low as you can realistically go, even on a BFS reel like this one right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the spools out and weigh them with line. So here we go. Okay, I got the spools out, and the first one I'm going to weigh is going to be the Scorpion 70. So originally it weighed, I believe, 15.5 grams. So with the line, it went up to 21.8 grams. So it gained about 6 or 7 grams. Now the BFS spool weighed in at 8.8 grams, and it only went up to 11.8 grams. So it only gained 3 grams. So you were looking at roughly double the spool weight between this and this. So it might have been hard to pick up on video, but when I was throwing this lure, the really light 16th ounce and the 3/32 ounce, the Scorpion 70 was really struggling. The lures were so light it could not get the spool moving, so it affected the trajectory, and the lure kind of just fell straight down, maybe like 10-15 feet in front of me. No matter how I adjusted my cast, no matter how I set the brakes, no matter how I adjusted the trajectory and the release point. Now the Scorpion 70 handled them way easier, and it was much more enjoyable. I mean, if I was stuck with this, throwing these lures right here, stuck with the 70, it would not be a fun day of fishing. It'd be very frustrating. So I guess the question is a bait finesse bait caster necessary? And of course the answer is no. You can do the exact same thing with the spinning reel. You can throw these light lures probably a lot easier, probably farther. But for me and guys who are, you know, tackle enthusiasts, it's just a lot more fun to use a bait caster for a really specialized technique like this. So if you guys are interested in a bait finesse reel, I believe there's 3 or 4 right now that are on the affordable side. Of course, the first one is the Scorpion BFS from Shimano. DAIWA has one as well. It's called the DAIWA Alpha. Alpha's Air. And then I believe Abu Garcia has a couple. I believe the REVO LTX, the new one, and the REVO ALC. And right now they're probably running around $250, and of course you got to order them from Japan. So I hope that you guys enjoyed that, especially you bait finesse guys, and thanks a lot.